Well, welcome to the Sports Wrap. Hope Christmas was a good one, a dandy one. Hopefully it was merry and nice, and you didn't have any coal in your stocking or anything like that. Did you have coal? No? Did you have coal in your stocking?
No, no. I got some good things, and all the grandsons were around, and we ran around, and the dogs barked, and there was no mention of politics and football, maybe a little hockey, but yeah, we had a good time.
Yeah, we haven't celebrated Christmas with our family. We're doing that on New Year's Day, so Christmas isn't quite over yet. You know, there's
you got more presents to go.
There's more presents to open.
Traditionally, sometimes New Year's was the time to give gifts. So
there you go. In case you didn't know, Dingus is with today.
This is my
the Eli is here, so that's good. You know, we have him on every once in a while just to make sure that.
Was it like that one song used to say, "Eli's coming, hide your heart." Three Dog Night.
Three Dog Night. There you go. Eli's coming. So, well, would you like to start with what?
I got to start off with the first thing that entered my mind when I woke up this morning. What are you going to start off with? And I says, all the bowl games. So I just crept on and thought, okay, let's see what Navy does against Oklahoma. Not knowing that Oklahoma lost 26 of its players, they're going to have to figure out a little bit of this portal thing after the bowl games if they want to keep the bowl games. But it was Navy and Oklahoma. It was give and talk. I mean, back and forth, and finally it was 21-20, and Oklahoma could have tied it. And they went for two and didn't get it. And it's just like, and I wrote to a Navy friend of mine, I says, they dodged a torpedo that time. He says, yeah, we zigged and zagged and let the tin cans take care of it. But it was good to see. And this year, both service teams have had such a great year. And it's nice to see how well they do. Army also played yesterday against Louisiana Tech and really kind of dominated. And they were showing off Bryce Daly and his work because he was, I don't know, he had 31 or 32 touchdowns.
32, I think I saw was the number.
Which is a lot of TDs.
That's a lot of touchdowns in, 13 or 14 games, whatever they got a chance to play.
But even at that, Marshall was originally on the contract, and they didn't do it, and they had Louisiana Tech, and I'm not sure Louisiana Tech was right up to snuff to handle that running attack. Also, Army for the first time they had a portal exchange, and he left the academy, and this is their big fullback, and when Navy was playing Oklahoma, they brought this up. How many transfers? Because you can't transfer in either. You got to start.
You got to start fresh.
You got to start fresh, and you continue on for your 4 years, and then go in the service. And so, Navy had none. They really wanted this football game, and I was real proud of the middies. They did a good job, as did the Black Knights.
Yeah,
great job.
A couple other interesting scores from the bowl games over the last week or so. Iowa State 42, Miami 41.
Yeah, it was one of those things where, hey, if you're going to go to a bowl game and it's going to be a little bit sunny, why not score? And it was just like, I love a fine defensive struggle, as do you. But sometimes when you get 80 points on the board, it's been quite a day. And we saw games that were close to 100 this year between the combination teams.
Well, speaking of near 100, Toledo 48, Pittsburgh 46 in 6 overtimes.
Yeah,
6 overtimes to get to that number. Huh?
A lot of overtimes.
That's a lot of overtimes.
That's a lot of OTs.
That is a lot of overtimes. And the other game I thought that was of interest, USC 35, Texas A&M 31. Overcame a 17-point deficit, did the Trojans.
Well, I think USC figures they're coming in here with a little something to prove. And UCLA is going to be doing the same thing, and as is Washington, and we know about Oregon, so it's quite a deal out there for those West Coast. It's going to take a couple of years of adjustments. It did for Nebraska and Penn State as well.
Sure. Iowa versus Missouri today.
It's going to be a good one, and I will be watching that.
Should be a good one.
It should be a good one. They're equally matched teams, and it's one of those things. Like if we talk about good defenses, Iowa's got a better offense than they had last year, but not much better. They rely mostly on their defense.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, 4 games prior to the start of the big 4 games.
I know it.
So Bama versus Michigan.
Yes.
What do you think? Michigan got a chance. Last time I said that, they upset Ohio State. The last time I think I said that in this share.
And they did, and I also take a look at some of these things like when you see some of the quarterfinals coming up here. You have to wonder. They're favoring Penn State over Boise.
No shock.
They're favoring Texas over Arizona State.
No shock.
Penn State and Texas are both rated lower than their opponents, and they're picking Ohio State over Oregon. And I'm not sure what they're doing with their Notre Dame and Georgia yet, but.
That's the bettors, man. People are seeing numbers and they can't stay away. I mean, if you're going to give me Ohio State and you're going to give me so much, I probably would bet on that.
Do you think Ohio State's going to beat Oregon?
I think they got a very good chance of beating Oregon.
They're the only ones down there that do.
Well, I mean, it was 32-31 2 months ago, right?
Yeah.
Or 2.5 months ago.
On a follow-up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, can they compete? And that was in Oregon's house. So, yeah, I think Ohio State has a chance. I think Texas is gonna beat up Arizona State. I think Penn State, Boise State is going to be very, very close. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think Notre Dame is going to beat Georgia. Georgia's just been too inconsistent, and Notre Dame's been too consistent lately.
They dominate the line of scrimmage almost totally.
And that'll be tough to do against Georgia.
It is going to be
because Georgia. I mean,
Georgia.
That's been their strong point. That's why they've been able to do what they've been able to do the last couple of years. So.
But I was really kind of surprised when I saw Arizona State and Iowa State here a couple of weeks ago. I saw that Arizona State team and I thought, wow, they are good, and they got this horse that knocks people over, and it's just like I think Texas is going to have. They're going to have a real battle with that. It's going to be fun to watch.
I think I heard that Texas was favored by like a dozen points, 11 points or something, which I think is a little crazy, but I still think Texas is going to win it.
Yeah, well, maybe, but that's the Chick-fil-A Bowl. Well, we'll see about that Chick-fil-A.
Atlanta.
Yeah, but I've seen Texas screw up a couple times. The fact of it is that Texas, they just reload at quarterback. They just have several other positions. They've got a good, solid, however man team they have. 60 to 100. They're good football.
We had 4 blowouts last week, basically in the first round games.
So what does that tell you?
I don't think we're going to have 4 blowouts.
No, there's not going to be 4 blowouts, but and I mean, there was a number of people, and I guess I have to agree with the majority of them. They're going to have to come up with another way because the quarterfinals were somewhat of an embarrassment.
Well, and I'll say this: there was this clamor before the quarterfinals that they should make it 16.
Yeah.
I think if anything that we saw, that we are going to see that we're not going to get to 16 anytime soon.
No.
Because we don't need blowouts. And can upsets happen? Sure. I think SMU blew it for a lot of the schools. I will say it that way, that with the way they got throttled, Alabama is sitting out there going, well, we should have been in there, and et cetera, et cetera. So.
Well, it's one of those things, I mean, Tennessee, my boys at Tennessee, the Tennessee Studs, I haven't heard nothing from them since the end of that game. But I was talking to them, and they says, we're going to invade the shoe. Well, they found out what that shoe is. And Tennessee's hound dog went yelping back to Knoxville. That was not a good performance by them. And the other one was Indiana at Notre Dame.
Well, I feel bad for Tennessee because Ohio State came out with that bad taste in their mouth, and they had 3 weeks to quote unquote right the ship. Losing to Michigan didn't make things happy.
No, and I'm telling you, I when you listen to the Ohio State fans, the game at Michigan is more important than the national championship. This is where they get this. They win a national championship, he says, there'll be an asterisk next to it. So, you know, this is the mysticism that goes with that Michigan Ohio State.
All right, let's pick them. Are you taking Oregon, number 1 Oregon, or number 8 Ohio State? Who wins, number 1 or number 8? In the Rose Bowl, where George and I have sat and watched football in the holy, Who are you taking, Oregon or Ohio State?
Going with Ohio State.
He's going with Ohio State. George?
No, I've got to go with Oregon in this one, and you know,
this is going to be close, but I am going to take the upset. I'm taking Ohio State. All right, Texas versus Arizona State. Number 5 Texas or number 4 Arizona State?
It's tough.
Tough. George, what are you taking?
well, it is tough, but I'm going to go with the upset here. I think Arizona State's going to beat them.
And statistically, Arizona, like I said, statistically, the upset would be Arizona State winning, even though they're the higher seed.
Yeah.
Who are you taking?
I'm going with Texas.
I'm going with Texas. I agree. Texas, and I think could be a double-digit victory, 10 plus points. Boise State, see what he's wearing? I know what his pick is. Boise State versus Penn State. Who are you taking? George is taking Boise State. I'm taking Penn State. Close, but Penn State.
I'm going to take Boise State.
He's taking Boise. Not Boise, Boise.
Boise State, they're called the Broncos, by the way.
Oh.
Boise State Broncos. So, but they have a running back named Ashton Genty, and you watch him because Genty is, I think, the best running back in the country right now, and he is.
Scatteraboo might have something to say about it.
Scatteraboo might have something to say about it, and if I was Scatteraboo, I would, because he is fearful on the field. He is fearful.
All right, Georgia versus Notre Dame. Final quarterfinal, number 2 Georgia, number 7 Notre Dame. What do you think, boy?
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. What do you think, George?
Yeah, I got to go with the Irish on this one too.
I'm gonna go. I said I'd go with the upset. Beat Georgia.
Yeah.
Georgia has been up and down, inside of games, outside of games, game to game. I think they fall behind and never are able to pull it out. I think Notre Dame wins it.
No.
Gophers versus Va Tech versus Virginia Tech on Friday, 6:30 in the evening. I'm being told. I haven't even looked at that officially, but somebody told me that. What have you been hearing about the Gopher football team besides the portal and losing a guy or two?
Well, and I mean that's all we're hearing about is the portal right now, and that's what I say. They got to start. They got to put that portal till the end of the bowl series, and then you can pick it up because and all the rest of this NFL.
New Year's Bash, Tuesday the 31st. Got music. Man, I can't even read it.
Okay.
I'm getting music by King of the Road.
Here.
That's what it says.
Show that on the camera
Show
over there.
that on the camera. Like
so
this.
we can
Just
put that on.
Just like that. Oh, yeah, right there. New Year's Eve coming tomorrow.
It's called free advertising. It's great.
Thank you. Boise State, good choice.
Boys, you see?
So, Gophers don't lose bowl games.
No, they don't.
So I'm not even going to take a vote because they don't lose under
No,
PJ play.
Virginia Tech has some very skilled players, but
You see what shirt he's got on?
all right. I was there
He's
when
got
he
his-
bought
he's-
that.
he's-
And you know
he-
what I feel bad about? I didn't get one. I should have gone and got one.
Got his UCLA Gopher T-shirt on. Nice bike.
Yeah.
Best shirt.
Best shirt ever, man. You better wear the heck out of that because you're going to outgrow it pretty soon because you're growing like
And
a...
then when you say, that is a nice shirt, and you say, yeah, my dad and George and mom had a real good time.
Had a real good time. So, college football kind of winding down. I don't know if we're going to get to talk about Montana State, North Dakota State.
That's going to be that.
That's on the 6th. That's
on
on
the
Monday the
6th.
6th.
Yes,
I don't
it
know
is.
if we're going to get to do if we're going to have a show before
Well, I
then.
don't know, but North Dakota did kind of do the job, or North Dakota State did do the job on
South Dakota State.
and they've been waiting to do that for a while. And I mean, I think that North Dakota State has had a couple of up and downs. They lost a couple games this year, but no, they're a powerful team. The Bison are going to roll.
They're going to roll.
They're going to roll.
Wow.
Yeah.
Montana State's got a pretty good quarterback.
They do. They're nasty people,
So-
and I think are they defending champions?
No, South Dakota State. South
Yeah.
Dakota State.
But they beat Montana State.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else college football that you want to jibber jabber about?
Nah, let me just see here. I've got. No, I don't think so. Baylor and LSU might be kind of interesting.
Baylor, LSU, Tuesday, Louisville, Washington, South Carolina, Illinois.
Yeah.
That one, you've been pushing Illinois, but
I
South
have.
Carolina has been really good.
It's not that I'm overly fond of their coach, but
Right, I
I
understand.
am overly fond of their football team.
I like the throwback uniforms that they wore.
Yeah, they do. But I had to. I wanted to pay attention to the Colorado BYU game.
Oh yeah, let's talk about how bad Colorado looked.
They got hammered,
It's not nice.
and it's just like the last picture I saw was Prime Time's little boy laying in the mud, and somebody had just drilled him, and he took a tough shot, but he got up. He's a hardcore crew, but the coach has he's got a real draw there, and I think he has got a recruiting magnet, and I think Colorado's going to do.
You think you're gonna be all right?
I think he's going to be all right. Hunter is an extreme athlete. You're going to run into him, every
Yeah.
50 years or so. But I think.
Wait a minute. What
Colorado's
about
gonna
Coy Pitt? Anyway, well,
No. Hey, what about Coy? Coperk is he's another one of those freshman freaks. I've never seen anybody like him, and neither has anybody else. One guy I talked to, he says, "Yeah, I saw one." He says Daryl Thompson looked real good when he was a true freshman, and I thought, yeah, and Daryl Thompson had quite a career, and so
He did.
And I think that because of the specificity. Oh, I love that. That's to celebrate. See, sometimes we get the crowd here and they're a little bit rambunctious.
Next week to the Lions, okay?
there you go.
We got the Lions yet, but no, I just think that if they could correct a few of these things, they got 47 games here, and the way it is right now, they don't know which team they're going to play against or have on your side. So Minnesota's lost a number of linemen. I understand that they're going on to the pros. That's going to hurt that offensive line because one's all Big Ten and the other one's about an honorable mention all Big Ten. These are good people.
I found it very interesting that Cam Ward, the quarterback for the University of Miami, played the first half and opted not to play in the second half.
Yeah, what's this opted thing? I don't understand that. If the coach
Guys
tells
save themselves for the pros. They want to get hurt. Well, then you play that anyway.
if you're going to have that problem in college, wait till you get to the pros because that league is dangerous. College is still fun, kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
lots of money there.
lots of money there.
Let's move on to the guys. Let's move on and talk about the pros. How about your Minnesota Vikings yesterday?
I think that was as an exciting game as they ever want to put me through. They dominated the first part of it, and then that Rob Love kid, he comes balking right in and starts bebopping and starts using some of those.
What?
Watson wasn't even playing for Green Bay.
What changed all of a sudden? Did Green Bay figure something out? Did the defense relax a little?
Only thing I know is towards the end of the game, I saw 3 rushers, and that's it. And everybody else was dropped back. And ordinarily they're saying they got 7 or 8 in the box. They had 3 in the box because those linebackers didn't have anything to do with it. They just dropped back, and he just started completing passes. Now this is where we get down to: do we want to rush or do we want coverage? And there's got to be a fine line there. And I remember coaching, and I wanted coverage, so I dropped off my rush, and they completed a long pass. It didn't work out. So you have to have that. But they weren't rushing, and I don't understand what Coach Flores wants. Undoubtedly, he is a gifted coach, and I watch that defense. It's like it's they're all over the place. Ivan Pace is back.
Yeah, like I said, obviously that helps. I think, obviously the Packers were at a point where they, quote unquote, didn't have anything to lose but to pass.
Yeah.
The Vikings had shut them down. What was Love in the first half? Like 4 for 8?
He wasn't
4
even,
for 10?
He wasn't even there.
Something like that for like 57 yards. And I'm like, well, man, if you hold a pro quarterback to 60 yards passing and a half, That's pretty good. The Vikings left a couple of points on the board with Will missing a couple of field goals, doinking one, and
Boinking right
off the old upright and left one short. And I told Eli when we were watching the end of the game, I said they're going to find a way to choke this away. But credit Kevin O'Connell for being aggressive on the final drive. Threw the ball 3 of the first 4 plays when a lot of coaches probably would have run 3 times and said, okay, I'm going to leave it up to my defense.
I think what you're seeing here in terms of coaching on both teams yesterday were LaFleur and O'Connell. This is what football is in the future. And I watched Atlanta and Washington later that night. 2 quarterbacks, both rookies. That is the future of quarterbacking.
Yeah.
And it's just like both of them were just incredible. And that's where you come up with Atlanta probably made the worst deal in the world for.
Well, yeah, I mean they're gonna lose some money, no doubt about that, moving forward. But they also needed to. We understand, I think, why they picked up Kirk Cousins. We probably don't understand why they drafted Michael Penix after they had picked up.
But we know why they drafted Michael Penix.
I think he was a good pick.
Yeah.
There was a little thought process going on there, but yeah, two young quarterbacks last night that can get the job done. What else? How about Saquon Barkley? Does he break Eric Dickerson's record?
Boy, he only needs 105 yards, and I sure hope he does. Every time he gets the ball, I kind of sit a little closer to the edge of my chair because something just could happen.
Well, Uncle Paul was questioning whether what Philly was doing. They were up 31 points, and they still had Barkley in the game, and it's like, well, they're trying to get him to 21:05.
Yeah.
But do you want him to get to 21:05, or do you want to risk him that you could lose him for the Super Bowl run?
He'll do over 100 yards next week, and he'll go from there. But I think he's got a good shot at breaking.
Well, I'll tell you what, whoever Philadelphia is playing, and I don't know off the top of my head, I would be doing everything in my power to make sure that Saquon Barkley didn't get the 105 next week, and that he didn't get to break Eric Dickerson records against us. So I'd be loading up the box and say, go ahead, throw the ball, beat us, I don't care. But Saquon Barkley not getting 105 yards or whatever he needs. That's, as a defensive coach, I'd be putting my foot down saying, this is the way it's going to be, brother. Okay.
Yeah, he'll jump over your head backwards.
And he'll jump over your head backwards.
But that's a very fine team that they have. They're a little bit busted up, and they get their quarterback back. They'll be in good style. But Atlanta and Washington's getting a new stadium. They got nice young people running the programs. They're going to be fine. But the quarterbacks were real impressive.
Yeah, I said it was a good game. Lions versus San Francisco tonight. We'll find out whether the Lions are going to be 14-2 or 13-3. It really doesn't matter in the fact of whatever because
play next week anyway.
Because they play next week, and if Detroit wins, they're 14-3 or 15-2, whichever one, and they're the number 1 seed. The Vikings, same thing. If they win next week, they take care of business.
So how come you're in favor of rooting for Big Ten teams, but when it comes to NFC Northern Division?
I don't like the way Dan Campbell. I don't like the way he coaches.
So
I cannot cheer for a coach who does things stupidly. And that's the word I'm going to use for Dan Campbell. He does. He makes some
mistakes.
He makes too many errors.
On the other hand, are you pulling for Chicago or Green Bay in any of those games? No.
Oh, no.
So you pulling for San Francisco tonight then?
No. Personally, I'd rather have Detroit win. Let's have 2 14-2 teams. One of them's going to get to 15. Go ahead, Detroit, win the heck.
San Francisco's playing these days.
Yeah, I think Detroit wins tonight.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any doubt.
Their defense is right now. I mean, they're on crutches, and they have lost 14 of the starting 19 guys on the defensive roster, and it's just so that's what's going to chew them up.
Some people might say when you play as dirty as they do, that's what happens. We're going to start calling them the dirty Motor City Kitties.
Well, there you are.
When you're taking out knees and purposely going at Niza. T.J. Hawkinson might have something to say about that. We'll see. We'll see how they feel about that.
Speaking of which, T.J. Hawkinson had himself a pretty good football game yesterday.
He still doesn't look full speed to me, and as I watched him yesterday, I think that knee is still not there.
It takes a couple of years for that to build up for actually what he does for a living. But he caught some really nice balls, really important balls, and Naylor.
How about Cam Akers?
And Cam Akers had a beautiful catch, and O'Donnell says, you know, there's a reason that we brought him over, and he's really fit in well. No. They knew each other in California, and here was a cheapo, good running back, and they got along, and the way they go, I think O'Donnell is. I mean, who wouldn't want to play for him? He has as much fun as the kids.
Seems to be a player's coach, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, he played for years, you know, as backup to Brady. And so Brady was really was talking about the whole deal and was pulling for him. Now, the panel on Fox Sports, my very, very good friend Terry Bradshaw, he picked Green Bay in the upset. And he says, well, I'm going to go with the upset. But I think those guys have been underestimating the Vikings from day one. And if there was nobody that was going to say that they were 14-2.
Somebody made the comment, look at their schedule, they haven't played anybody. And I'm like, okay, I can agree with that because they were a third-place team in the division, so they got to play a third-place team schedule, so they didn't have to play a lot of the big dogs. But they've taken care of business. They've done what they've had to do. That's all you can do.
Is this their year?
Geez, I'd like to think so, but no. I
You know, the Minnesota Vikings is the longest professional franchise without a championship.
Should like to see that corrected. Then we all can die and be happy. We won't have to be sitting in hell or heaven.
But we went to the Rose Bowl, and we had never done that before either,
Right,
so it could happen. Anyway.
The NFC playoffs, Vikings, Philadelphia, Rams, Detroit, Washington, Green Bay are in. You notice I put them in that order because the Vikes will be the number 1 seed, Philadelphia will be 2, the Rams will be 3, Detroit will be 5. After the win next week by the Vikings, Washington and Green Bay still could be 6 or 7, depending upon who wins or loses next week. And then Tampa Bay and Atlanta, depends upon what happens next week. That'll be the number 4 seed. Who, if Tampa Bay wins, they're in.
So the number 1 seed is in Minneapolis.
The number 1 seed is on Sunday night in Minneapolis.
You know, because I think that crowd has a lot to do with what's going on down
Well,
there.
actually, not in Minneapolis. It'll be in. It's in Detroit.
Oh yeah, I know they're in that game, but I mean the first playoff game.
Oh,
Number 1 seed.
would be
get home.
they'll be at home the whole way through. Yeah, exactly. So the Vikings do have to go on the road and beat Detroit and. Yeah, so AFC, Kansas City's 1, Buffalo's 2, Baltimore's 3, Houston's 4. That's a done deal. Pittsburgh and the Chargers are in, and now you got between Denver and you've got Cincinnati and Miami, who are into whatever. And Denver had a chance to put it all away, put it to bed last week against Cincinnati, and right now I don't want to play Cincinnati.
No, Joe went right back to it and played a heck of a game. And I had comments from people that apparently they still have some hardship against that poor coach from Denver, and they say, you know, like, I absolutely can't pull for this guy. He should be in jail or you know, dismissed from the league. And I wrote back. I says, the Bounty Boy, he's still a little angry at him. I says, and right you should be. And then I just went off. But there are owners and there are other coaches that like this attitude, win at any cost. And I know that that's a bad part of that football game, but I do know this as well. I bet you the NFL is watching him like a hawk.
Oh.
And, you know, if there is anything that comes up, they will nail his can. And the other thing I like about Denver is Bo Nix. What a
Well,
fun.
you know, I'm a Bo Nix fan.
Yeah,
That's
you
what
know,
I think.
I just thought Bo Nix was really just a great college quarterback, and he's having a good run at the pros, and another one of those rookie quarterbacks that, they're fun to watch. And and who broke the whole wave for that was Michael Vick and some of the rest of these guys. But Lamar Jackson, I mean, who do you like best, Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen as quarterbacks? Well, they both have a certain skill set, but that with Patrick Mahomes is the big three in that league, and I really like Lamar Jackson.
Don't forget, Kansas City's only 15-1.
And who'd they lose to?
Who did they lose to? Do you remember?
The Vikings?
Nope.
No.
The Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going
And
to be.
everybody would like to see that game again.
We probably, very possibly will.
Yeah.
All right, Eli wants to talk about hockey.
Hockey? You've been playing hockey?
You want to talk about high school hockey? You said, right?
No, high school football.
Oh, you want to talk about high school football? High school football's been over for a month,
Yeah,
man.
put your hands over your mouth so we can
What,
hear
what,
you.
what do you want to talk about high school football for? Go ahead.
The Prep Bowl.
Oh, what about the Prep Bowl? What do you want to say about that?
The best running back that I know is from Minnesota.
From Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Ryan,
I don't know.
you can't remember how to pronounce his Ryan Maher? Yeah. Ryan Maher's got more airtime on this show than most everybody else. Number 20 from Minnesota is pretty good.
You keep an eye on that Minnesota wrestling team, because most of the football team wrestles, and they are a nasty bunch of wrestlers. They've got one of the
And the
top
football
ranks.
coach is the boys basketball coach, so keep an eye on the Minnesota basketball team, because the coach sure seems to know what the heck he's doing, because they had a 20-win season last year in boys basketball.
That's an impressive sports team. You're in demand.
There's no days off, right? Okay, what'd you see in boys hockey at the hockey tournament this weekend?
The Broncos won.
The Broncos won. The
Yeah.
Broncos won their holiday hockey tournament this weekend, the Winter National Falls Holiday Hockey Tournament. Eli sporting the hat, the toque, the beanie. So, the Broncos lost game 1, but came back, beat Fort Francis on Friday night, beat up on Bagley Foston on day 3 on Saturday, and ended up winning the tournament. So congratulations to the boys. And it was if you weren't there on Friday night, the Dirty Dozen was in the house. The place was pretty close to full on Friday night. It was nuts. It was a good crowd.
Played on Friday night.
Minus the shenanigans towards the end of the game, it was a perfect evening. So
What shenanigans?
the fight.
Oh, yeah.
You're not supposed to do that in high school. That's
Treat Fort
shenanigans.
Francis
I
in
wish.
International Falls. Huh.
Shocking.
Go figure.
Go figure that could happen. So
There were times that they didn't play each other for a long time because
we
of that.
discussed
thing.
that at length
Yeah.
about the stuff, and of course we didn't play for a while because of what was going on in the stands, and thankfully that seemed to be pretty well in order on Friday night.
It was a good hockey game. I listened to it kind of because the radio was fading in and out, and then when the commercial would come on, I'd blast because I'd have it.
Oh,
set
we're
up
still
so
having that issue. Huh?
We're still having that issue.
when we were working there. 4-2 the Broncos. So that game 2 of the 3 on the season goes to the Broncos after Fort Francis won the first one. So they'll play on February 4th. That's a Tuesday. Back at Bronco Arena. So we'll do part 3 in February for the Broncos and the Muskies. So we'll see what happens there.
See, this is another one of those mystical games. Anything can happen, and both teams, just foolish pride, are going to go out there and give everything they've got.
Yeah,
And,
it was a great game. Probably should throw out there that Willie Yerxa for the Broncos on Saturday. The Broncos won 8-1. He had 7 points in the game, 5 goals, 2 assists for 7 points. It's not too shabby of a day.
No, it isn't. When you start putting points like that, it gets catchy.
Five goals in a game is a big number.
Yeah.
Bronco boys basketball team will finish up Bronco sports quick. Bronco boys basketball team went to Ely, lost twice. Girls basketball team went to Chisholm, beat Duluth Denfeld, and lost to the host Chisholm team. So Bronco boys hockey plays in Ely on Tuesday, a makeup game from a sickness postponed game from a few weeks ago. and then of course we get New Year's Day, and then the 3rd and the 4th, the hockey teams, both boys and girls hockey teams play a couple times, and the girls basketball team gets underway, and the boys swimming team gets back underway. They've had a kind of a lull. They've had one meet in a month.
Oh,
And they're anxious to get out there and do some swimming and diving. So it will be exciting to see what happens with
Well,
that.
it was one of the things that Sue brought up. We were listening to the game. She says, I hope the Wilmer people are having a good time. They come the farthest.
The Wilmer people were very happy from what I gathered. The team was really happy. They've already agreed to come back next year.
There you got it.
So Fort Francis has already agreed. So we got 3 of the 4 possible teams that we need to keep the tournament going. And we'll see what happens with Bagley Foston. They need to sit down and discuss with their AD. They wouldn't commit. Perfectly fine. And we'll hopefully know in the next week or 2 if they're going to commit. And if not, we're going to go out there and find a 4th team that wants to come and play some hockey. Very even the first 2 nights. Wednesday or Saturday's games, day 3, kind of couple of blowouts, 8-1 and 6-1. I think Fort Francis beat Wilmer. I think those 2 teams on the road, they were tired out sleeping in. The Broncos and the Muskies had an advantage sleeping in their own bed.
They start doing 2 or 3 games, and you go day after day after day. You know, you can see it even in the pros and the rest of it when they're on a rough traveling schedule. And that 3rd period, they are just not lifting their skates, as happened last night.
With the Wild, you're talking now?
Yes, that's exactly.
Oh
what
no,
I'm
they
talking
were
about.
at home. Why were their legs should be just what the heck?
Well, whatever it is, their legs weren't with Kaprizov because he wasn't there.
Yeah, he's been taking a couple of games off here.
You
get hurt?
can't win in that league. You don't win in that league 1-0 very often, and that's all they could produce offensively. And
tough to put the biscuit in the basket lately. They've lost 5 of 7. They lost 3-1. Gave up an empty netter. Their 48 points is 5th best in the league right now. Vegas out in front with 55. I think I saw this morning. So I'm no panic. None.
I also spent a little time watching the Timberwolves yesterday.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What'd you think of that game against the Spurs?
I thought that they played pretty well. At least at times they kind of the defense kind of give it an end, but they've got a couple of new Dimitrovic or whatever the heck his name is, Dimitrivios, the redhead.
The redhead.
You can pick him out right off because he's a redhead, and he's a pretty good basketball player.
Shoot the 3.
He can shoot the 3. Handles the ball. He's very aggressive going to the hoop.
I think he's part of that working through the process, figuring things out. They're 17-14 are the Wolves.
Yes.
7th best record in the West. So right now they're in the playoffs. 112-110 went over the Spurs last night. Had to delay the game by over an hour last night because there was something wrong with the City League floor that they were supposed to play with last night. So they had to tear the floor out and put the floor in and get the baskets back in. So they had to delay the game over an hour to get it done.
But still, it's amazing that they can do it in an hour. You just put down a whole new floor, get a
Rip her up
whole new
and
thing,
pull
rip
her
her
out.
up and do it again.
How about Ant being fined again? This time $100,000 for swearing during the post-game interview on Friday night after the Houston game, and not just once, multiple times on the air. Not when you get a news conference and they can beep it all out. Well, when you're doing it live on the air,
They don't beep it out.
it's tough to beep out a lot of times.
Yeah, somebody should put them in a room with a bunch of 9, 10, 11-year-olds, and now you tell them what you want them to remember. And it's like, there's never any swearing around my grandsons by their grandfather. I'm not going to have them think, I remember Grandpa swore all the time. No, that doesn't happen, and I'm not going to allow. You ever heard me swear? No.
I've never heard you swear, but I've heard him.
Have
Heard
you?
me swear, absolutely.
Yes, because he gets angry, and see, when you get older, then you mellow that anger.
Especially at the TV.
Yeah,
that's
those
a
guys.
good one.
It's the only way they hear you. You gotta say the magic word so that the sound travels to them.
You were
Yeah.
yelling at the Vikings.
Sometimes that's easy to do.
I'm sorry, Dad. I just
Sometimes that is easy to do.
I think sometimes your dad would still like to be a football coach, and he gets that in the middle of about the 3rd quarter when things are going tight.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
probably right on that. Can you believe Oklahoma City is 26-5 in the NBA?
My lords, they lost 5 games.
And Cleveland's 27-4.
Well, they were coming on at the end of last year, so I'm not at all surprised. Now, where are the Celtics at?
22-9, I think I saw.
Okay.
So right there.
How are our friends on the Knicks team?
22-10.
Well,
They're right there.
they're right there.
It'll be fun.
It will.
Have you watched any World Junior Hockey?
I have watched a little bit. Latvia beats Canada.
They're calling it maybe the biggest upset ever at the World Junior Hockey Championships. Latvia had to go to a shootout but beat Canada. Canada only beat Germany 3-0 yesterday, and the United States beat them 10-0 the other day. Now the U.S. lost to Finland yesterday in a shootout or in overtime, 4-3. So, excuse me.
No, Canada to do that in Canada.
In Canada to boot.
Yeah, no, that's.
They knew Canada, was going to be down a little bit, but I don't think they thought they'd lose to Latvia, for heaven's sake.
Most people don't know where Latvia is. Do you know where Latvia is?
Nope.
You check the map. Everybody should know where it is.
Latvia had 3 wins in the entire history of the World Junior Championships prior to beating Canada the other day. 3 the whole time.
Do you think those boys enjoyed that much?
Ooh. Big time.
Big time.
Big time celebration. Canada and the United States tomorrow, I believe. That could be fun.
Good.
United States looking to defend their gold medal. What do you got for me?
If Bedard was still on Canada,
Oh, if Bedard was still playing for Canada, yeah,
it would probably be a tough game.
be a tougher story. Remember now, the Junior World Championships coming to St. Paul next year, this time of the year. So
That might be pretty interesting to go to. I mean, I've always wanted to go to the junior.
well,
Cup.
maybe when we buy tickets, we're going to have to buy 4
Yeah.
instead of 3
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
your mother wants to go. Anyway, we'll see. Maybe we'll have to take George with us and all that. Hey, the Minnesota Frost, PWHL women's hockey
They
in
do.
first place.
Do they play again tonight or tomorrow?
Nope, they don't play today. I think it's tomorrow that they play. They are 3-1-1-1. 3 wins, 1 overtime win, 1 overtime loss, and a loss, which puts them in first place with 12 points.
First.
So, you gotta like that, right? Gotta like them when they're in first place.
I watched some of the highlights that they had, and these women can skate. These are serious professional athletes, and they are something to watch.
Every game seems to be close. There's no blowouts. I'm just
There's no blowouts.
It's like the NBA. It's like somebody gets ahead 3-0, then pretty soon it's a 3-3 hockey game. I don't know how they do
the
that.
goaltending and defense is improving so much, and it's
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
By the way, the Bulldogs, speaking of hockey, get back to it. Bulldogs at Bemidji State tomorrow afternoon.
Oh,
Bemidji's been playing pretty good.
oh.
We probably should be there tomorrow, but yeah. It's just,
And all those good friends of mine and family down there at Bemidji State, they, and in fact, there was one person in the family. I was there for UMD Bemidji State game, and they were wondering if maybe I was a spy and should go sit somewhere else.
that's a possibility.
Yeah, it could be.
You might have noticed that the phone was on earlier. Of course, the Dart Championships into the round of 16. They play today. They play tomorrow. They play on Thursday, and then the championships on Friday. I've been doing not enough watching, but the upsets at the Dart Championships has been wow, lots of it. The number 1 loss yesterday to your favorite dart thrower, who is
Snakebite Peter Wright.
Snakebite Peter Wright. You got
Snakebite Peter Wright, what a character.
He had purple hair on yesterday with some loud shirts and pants. And
I saw him. Yeah, I just didn't know that his name was Snakebite.
Snakebite Peter Wright. And so Luke Littler is going tonight. He is the phenom 17-year-old from England who is the odds-on favorite to win it all.
Didn't he win the English one last year? Was
He
in the world?
he got to the finals last year.
Yeah.
Yep. So anyway, so the darts, a few more days of that, and then I can cancel my days and subscription again for another 11 and a half months, and then we'll move on, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
When the Broncos had a 3-0 lead in the first period, I knew that they would win from the start.
That's right. Put a grip hold on the game right away, and then take care of business, right? All right. Who died yesterday that you couldn't believe died?
Jimmy Carter,
Jimmy Carter. Who was Jimmy Carter? Do you remember?
a president.
Do you know when he was president? No? It's not
Somewhere in the 1900s.
sometime in the 1900s. That's pretty good. 77 to 81. He was the president. Passed away yesterday at the age of 100.
You know, today they made mention that he spent a short time in the Navy. No. He was a nuclear physicist and went aboard submarines, and I heard this story yesterday that they had a nuclear meltdown in Canada, right across the river, and Captain Jimmy Carter was in New York. They called his butt up there, and he stopped the whole process, took everything out, cleaned it up, and did not allow this thing to burn down. He saved Canada. So, he was able to do a good many things. You know how some of those...
I thought he was a peanut farmer.
Yeah, well, he went to peanut farming.
That's what when the president gets elected when you're 7 years old and he's a peanut farmer, that's what you remember, and that his brother Billy had Billy beer.
Billy beer, they made that in Minnesota.
Okay.
And I had one once. It was awful. But I wish I would have got a six-pack or something and put it on the shelf, because Billy was, we all
Just to
have
make it look
brothers.
cool. Just to make it look
Not me,
cool.
but
So the only president ever to make it to 100, and yeah.
he's a very good man. He's a very good man.
Happy birthday to cousin Vicky, one of our biggest fans. I want to make sure I get that out there. I don't even know. You want me to do the math quick? 50. Must have been born in 55. So she must be 69 years old today. I don't mean to, shouldn't talk about women's ages, but I did the math, Vicky.
She's a youngin'.
She's a youngin'.
She's a youngin'. What can I say?
December 30th.
I do want to make one mention.
Yeah.
We didn't bring up the Gopher basketball team, and they are heading for their destiny because they're playing. I think they're playing Purdue. That would be tomorrow night, I believe, or
Could be tomorrow night.
it could be tomorrow night. Purdue has twin towers. Indiana has twin towers. Michigan has twin towers.
Guess what the Gophers don't have?
We don't even
have a tower.
We don't even have a tower. We need a couple of towers, but
Somebody told me over the Christmas break that their prediction was that the Gophers would go 0-20 in Big Ten play, or 0-18. I believe it's 20 that they play.
well, I think that's pessimistic. Probably it could happen. Yeah,
Could happen.
it could happen.
I won't, but thank you.
Yeah, they beat Moorhead State, and that's where we go from there.
So maybe we got to hope for Gopher wrestling. I haven't seen them yet. They were on a Big Ten Plus this weekend, but I didn't have Big Ten Plus. I thought about subscribing, and I thought, you better get another television because
I should share the new. We lost the TV in the last 10 days because Midco cut off their hardwired TV. So you have to be on the internet now to be able to have Midco TV. So I had an extra TV hardwired in,
and you lost it.
and it's gone. So now I only got 2 TVs in the basement. I know, feel bad for me. Come on. And but last night I couldn't watch 2 things at one time because Dingus was watching Young Sheldon and I was watching football. So it's tough news.
I could watch Young Sheldon on my phone. Could have just asked.
It's tough. It's tough business. Well,
You like that Young Sheldon, huh?
plus the house is being remodeled, so now everybody's in my dojo.
No, that is what you got to do. Is you got to bring a guy in with a couple of cameras, and they'll call it This Old House, and you'll make a lot of money. And I was telling Sue about it, and I says, how would you like to have somebody come in and dismantle our entire house and rebuild it? Her mouth just dropped, and it's like, how? It just, but it's going to be beautiful. It really will be nice.
Yeah, they're starting to re-put the floor in. They gutted it. The main floor is a big chasm of. You walk in there and there's an echo, and it's just like, wow. So it's going to be very different. But we're surviving. We haven't killed each other yet. Everybody being in the basement, all sitting around trying to live together instead of 3 separate floors. We only got 2 floors to live
Well,
on.
and that's what Sue and I were determined a long time ago is the secret to a marriage is 2 televisions in 2 different rooms. So I go upstairs to the solarium. She says, "Are you heading for the apartment, huh?" "Yeah, I am."
Yes, I am.
And it's really kind of nice. Well, I don't even want to put this on the air, but there, when you open the window in the solarium, you have like an instant cooling shelf. So if you have anything that needs cooling, you can put it on the cooling shelf.
I don't. What could we possibly need cooled? I
like soda water.
Yeah.
things such as
Maybe
that.
maybe a soda pop.
Yeah.
Nothing else though. No.
Cold beer?
Well, we're not pulling any
Eli,
wool over
my
this guy's
son.
eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We hear you. You're right. Maybe a little tequila. You never know. A bottle right up in the window. You never
No,
know.
I like mine warm. That's just-
Anything else?
No, I'm in good shape. Be back next week. Watch a lot of
Hey,
football.
Happy New Year, everybody. We'll see you in 2025.